Hello and welcome back to an all-new Sam Explains the World. I'm your host, Samantha Bremenkamp, and on this beautifully rainy, cold day, I figured Mom and I were talking, and she came up with a great idea. Why not make chili? And since I've only ever made chili one other time recently, and I think it came out pretty great, I'm going to try to share and recreate what I did with you guys. So bring a pencil and a pad of paper, or just watch and be amazed by how little I know what I'm doing, but it's never stopped me, as you know. So without further ado, here comes turkey chili coming your way. First thing we're going to need, something to cook in. It's my go-to pan. I'm going to first caramelize some garlic, onions in here. I'm going to then add the turkey, which is just such a nice alternative to beef, which I love and want to eat 24/7. It's not exactly meant for that, so to change it up, awesome. Plus, I put in a ton of different types of beans. We have kidney, pinto, black beans, and garbanzo beans, aka chickpeas, and different stocks. So I have chicken stock, beef broth, and chicken broth. And because I don't like chili that is soupy, like runny, I'd rather it be thicker, more towards like a stew or a stoop, if you will, combining the words stew and soup. Stew. So I am going to likely make a corn starch slurry, which I'll show you. I'm going to show you all these things, and then put it into a pot with carrots and celery, and just let it get super involved with each other, share the flavors, and create something absolutely delightful. I can practically already smell it now. So first things first, garlic and onions, which is usually pretty dreadful. I saw something on the old internet machine that said if you coat your knife with oil, it allegedly makes it, so very carefully do this. If you're prone to accidents, don't do this. You can also use a napkin if you feel like what I'm doing is super dangerous, because it is. Okay. And then you're going to allegedly, with the now greased up knife, be able to cut into onions and not cry, which sounds wonderful. So let's see if it works. Always down to clown and trying something new. Marmalade might give us some background music with some squeaky toys as I'm listening to her on this delightfully rainy day. Peel off some jackets. What? Here's your hat. What's your hurry? Want to stay a while? Oh, yes. Thank you for the squeaks. What a prodigy. So musically inclined. She's got to get into Juilliard. Like, the family's so proud. And she really wants to go back outside, but I don't know if you know this about Marmalade. She is quite the leaf huntress. Otherwise, an absolute horrible hunter, which, thank goodness, doesn't go after animals, but will chase a flying leaf down cold, track it down, and then, try to eat it. No, I think that we just talked about it. So BTW, my eyes are still stinging from onion. So could be that I'm extra sensitive, or that the internet isn't always truthful, which is an important tidbit to always keep in mind these days and all days. Boy, if you would like to, or if you are a sympathetic crier, don't be embarrassed. Feel free to cry alone. Gotta be cathartic. And fresh tears are really what adds the best and most complex flavor to any dish. So I guess I could have put on goggles. I've seen all different things that people swear by. And the only thing that works for me is to not do it. But thank you, Internet, for trying. I do understand. I think if you kept continuously coating the knife as you're cutting it, it would like kind of squash down the airborne toxic event that happens when onions are cut. But that seems ridiculous and not like a safe thing to do, to continually handle a knife and keep oiling it and yourself up. So I'm going to use 2.5 onions. The half, if you're wondering, is here waiting for me to put it out. And I'm going to use at least 6 cloves of garlic. So make sure you're writing it all down. I feel like there are different types of chefs in the world. You have your classical, it's a lot like music. Classical chefs, trained, they do it the way they're taught. And then you have chefs that are like more like jazz chefs, which is where I feel like I fall into that category, where you're kind of making it up as you go. You're finding the tune, you're creating a beat, you're just feeling it. And that's all you need. But everyone's built differently. So whichever camp you fall into, even if you're just someone who just appreciates it and doesn't do it, that's cool too. So while the onions and the garlic, you can hear them sizzling on medium heat or breaking down, I'm going to start the pot that's going to start cooking the celery and the carrots in some of the stock and broth. And I'm going to add the beans to it. And that's going to hang out on a lower setting to match up time-wise for being able to cook the turkey and the already broken down garlic onions. So this is how much celery I'm putting in, just because that's how much I feel like. Celery's really good for you. You can put in more if you're into it. You don't put in at all if you don't like it. It's the magic of being an adult. Super easy. I already rinsed it off, even in between them. And because it's going into the stew, I know it's going to break down, so I'm not like debating it. I don't know if you ever grew up having to do that. It takes forever and it's a pain. But it makes sense if you're putting like peanut butter and raisins on it, like a log, because you don't want the strings getting stuck in your teeth, because that's annoying. But if you're cutting it up, I don't see the point in doing that. And with the carrots, same thing. I am not going to do more than rinse them off. Obviously, if there was dirt or something, I would scrub them. But I am not going to peel them. I'm going to keep the peel. It's appealing to me. I might even have more secret flavor in it. I don't know. It's just what I like to do. I do snip the tip. And again, these are great. So I'll just do little coins. Carefully. Then we're going to roll. I'm going to let them, I have this beautiful cleanup crew named Marmalade. and carrots are one of the things she's totally like. The rest of them, always being careful, always paying attention. Let the carrot drop or whatever. Don't feel like you have to do like the knee jerk reaction of trying to catch something before it falls off the counter because you get enough cutting yourself. It's not worth it in any capacity. Make sure to every now and then stir the garlic and the onions, which I will do now because they are being very feisty. I love the sound of that sizzle, but you want everyone to get fair play. Don't trip on a carrot. Hold on. And yes, I just picked it up, even though I said I was going to give it to Marmalade, because to be fair, I don't want to trip on it while I'm making this show for you guys. All right, so we have the celery, the carrots are in. Now we're going to be adding the broth. I'm going to start with the rest of this. Oh, it just smells so good, beef broth. Just a little. You could also just straight up do like beef stock, which is what I did last time. But I'm changing it up this time. We're going to do chicken stock. And straight broth. Not this whole thing, it's gigantic. But a little. Okay. That's going to be enough liquid in my opinion. With the beef, there was like a sip left. So it wasn't like I put this whole thing in. I just want you to keep in mind. Now I'm going to go all the way over, put this in the stove, get it started so it can start to break down the carrots and the celery, and then we're going to get the beans. Oh, hey, you found me. Welcome. We are over at the stove. And I have nicely caramelized garlic and onion. Sorry it's so loud, but you can hear the sizzle and see the delicious steam rising. And I have the celery and carrots cooking, and I'm about to add the beans. But first, we're going to add the ground turkey into our onion garlic situation. You guys hold hands for a minute. Yeah. Okay. So when it turns down a little bit, I don't need the heat so hot. So hot right now. Oh yeah. But making room so that the turkey cooks. I don't know about you, but ground turkey is so great. Change it to nachos, nice little chili. You could do turkey burgers or turkey meatloaf, I don't know, but it's a great alternative. Fun to change it up too. You don't want to become, yeah, one of those people that just only eats the one type of protein. You want to be cool. You want to be hip. You want to experiment. Try all the different flavors. As long as you're not allergic. Keep that in mind. Always, always keep it in mind. Feel free to sub in and out anything and make sure heart happy and body happy and healthy. Okay, that's going to keep cooking down. Now I'm going to open all of the beans and add them in. We're going to start with the biggest one, pinto beans. So this whole meal is packed with protein. It's filling, it's delicious, and it stays well in the fridge. You can also freeze it if you have any left over, which in our house we're not going to. I am going to pour out the liquids into the sink. You're not going to see that. Just use your imagination. If I was straight up cooking black beans to add to a dish or just, whatever, I would keep the liquid that came with the can. It's just delicious. But because there's so much going on in here already, I don't need to add 15 more bits of liquid. Hold it open. We're going to stir that. Yes, this one. Choose you. Give that a little stir. After I get all the beans in, I'm going to add some salt, some pepper. Secretly, at some point, it's not a secret because, I'm telling you, I'm going to absolutely add turmeric, ground turmeric into it. It's supposed to be really good for you. And on rainy days, I don't know about you, but my joints ache. So anything to help, even if it just me think it's helping, that's what counts. We're gonna add kidney beans, old garbanzo beans. I just felt like it was such a wasted moment to not have gonzos, garbanzos. Muppets, get in touch with me. We like it chunky, when it comes to chili. So while all of that starts to get together, notice that this is starting to not be as sizzly sounding because it's basically cooked down all the juices and stuff. And it is ready to go in. If you have some turkey or beef, whatever you're putting in it, that is like a little pink, that's okay because you're putting it into a hot liquid that's going to cook it further. So you don't have to worry about that. Of course, you want to make sure everything is cooked before consuming. But I know that I'm switching this over here. I'm going to put the hat on. I'm going to let this heat up. This is turned off on the heat, but I'll just leave it on the stove for a minute until I am ready to marry these two. So you don't have to stay here for that. I'll bring you back when it's time. So the beans and the celery and the carrots are cooking nicely. And I am ready to add the turkey. So get pumped. Get a little bit lighter for myself before I do it this way. If you're really strong, good for you. when in doubt, do it the smartest way you can so that you can try not to hurt yourself. Oh, yeah. I'm going to include the juice. Oh, yes. And now I'm going to let this sit cooking and cooking down for a while. And while this is happening, I'll probably go cut more apple snacks and stuff to put on the dehydrator because I keep eating them. What can you do? So now we wait. And then we wait a little longer. I'll show you the next part where we make the slurry. We'll put that in when the time is right, which is not yet. Everything is cooking down really nicely. It is going to be scrumptious. And I figured I could take this opportunity to show you how to make a slurry to thicken up a stew or a pie or whatever. So for this, I'm going to be using cornstarch. I'm going to take a spoonful and I'm going to carefully put it into cold water. It's cold because you do not want it to start to activate, and you gently mix it in. The reason you do this, why can't I just throw that in there and do it in there? A, that's boiling hot, it's going to activate immediately, and B, it's just going to be chunky. It's not going to spread out, and you're going to be like, cool, what's that stuff floating on top? Delightful. So that's it. It was really easy, right? I did it so easily. They'll do it even better. Make sure it's completely stirred though. I'm feeling a chunk on the bottom. And then I'm going to slowly start adding it in. It makes a huge difference. I realized it was a good idea when I first conquered chili the last time / only time, and my partner could not get over how really, really, really awesome the consistency, the texture. He is in Camp Thicker with me. Almost to the end. Woo! Excitement. Okay. That's it. Continuing the trend of using cold water, I'm going to share with you one of my secret weapons. It's Red Lobster's Cheddar Bay Biscuits that they sell at places like Aldi for under $3. And they're the greatest ever. No, they're not paying me to say that. They're welcome to, but it's super easy. You just take the bag, 3/4 of a cup of cold water, and some shredded cheese. Plus, it comes with this really great little seasoning pack that you're gonna heat up with butter to brush on afterwards. If you did the focaccia bread, but you can't beat it for under $3, and they're so tasty. You can put as much cheese as you want. So the oven is preheating to 450 for these, and then they cook super quickly. It's very important to get to that hot temperature. Whoever invented this, that beautiful mad scientist, I would just stick with that. And stick them in, take them out, and you're gonna watch me brush on butter, garlic seasoning. How exciting! Welcome back. The oven went ding, 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 and it was time for these bad boys, who look gorgeous, to come out. This is too hot, otherwise I'd pick it up and show it to you. But now I have ripped off 3 sheets of tinfoil. I'm going to be putting 2 per, because it's just my partner and I. And so that way I have these ready to go and saved up for the next meal. Because no, we're not going to kill 6 of these. We could, we'd want to, but I find that if you let them sit while soaking up the butter with seasoning, they'll absorb it more. You won't waste any of it. So I put the butter with the seasoning that came with the packet. Just mixing it in the microwave. I always recommend heating it 20 seconds at a time with butter, because you don't want it to explode and most of it to go all over your microwave, or at least spill out, because that's just heartbreaking. And then you paint it on like your Picasso or our friend Bob Ross. And realize it's going to spill off of it and absorb, because you were smart and did the tinfoil. 1. That's it. And now we wait for dinner time, because the delicious turkey chili is ready, but it's way too early. So you'll be planning it with me later on. Thank you so much for joining me on this episode of Sam Explains the World. As always, I'm your hostess with the mostest, Samantha Bremenkamp, and this is the award-winning turkey chili and the Cheddar Bay Biscuits from Red Lobster that you can get in a box for only $3 from Aldi. You can tell it's still really hot, so I can't really shove this in my face. I have to wait a minute, but give it a try. Add it into your rotation. It's perfect for winter, for cold, rainy days, snowy days, and you can make it ahead of time and save it if you have those cubes that you can freeze, or just put it in containers in the fridge for the week. Perfection. I look forward to you joining me next week, 9 p.m. on BCTV.